I'm recording. So this is the SAS stored process. So this is one paper about the stored process. SAS stored process going beyond the current capabilities of the stored process. So this is a paper about the stored process. Okay. So after this class, you just practice this one. Okay.
Oh, sure.
I mean, if you can, then SAS Enterprise Guide 4.2 and stored process. What is the relationship between the stored process and the enterprise guide? Because this one open metadata architecture. Okay. SAS management console, stored process, and enterprise guide. So these are the new tools. Like after 9th version, these are the new tools. Now this became very old. So all these are useful in creating the stored process. So yeah, just if possible, you just go through this document also. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Then creating and using stored process with enterprise guide. So how to create the stored process and how to use the stored process using enterprise guide. This is one more exercise. Okay.
Okay.
And from the SAS website also, you can download the SAS stored process. Okay. I mean, it is around some 150, 200 pages content itself. So it contains everything about the stored process. This is one documentation. Yeah, I think it's not there. This one, SAS stored process. Yeah, this one is around some 240 pages is there. Developer's guide, how to develop the stored process. So this is a very good book. It contains everything. But anyway, I'm going to explain, everything in this. What is the overview of the stored process? What are stored process? Why are stored process important? Then which clients can use stored process? Then writing a stored process, how to, I mean, what's the function of the stored process, how to manage the stored process, how to debug the stored process, composing stored process reports, building a web application with stored process, then STP procedure. STP means stored process. What is a stored process procedure? Then what are software requirements? Converting SAS intended programs to the SAS stored process, then giving the prompting. Okay, so I mean, it will explain you everything about the store process in a admin aspect also. Okay, but no need. I mean, this much of the content is not required. After attending the class, then you feel very comfortable only.
Okay. For my future reference, right?
Sorry.
For my future reference only. I mean,
Yeah, it is for the future reference, but it's easy only. Yeah, I just saved this one. Okay. One second. Yeah. Okay. So before going to store process, So I'll just explain what is the stored process. Okay. So you can use SAS Enterprise Guide to create stored process that enable you to make your SAS programs easily available to other users worldwide. You can see centrally located is a stored process diagram, right? So this is how the stored process diagram is represented. You can see there is a triangle, right? There's a triangle. So with this icon, easily we can identify the stored process. So this is stored process icon. So
Okay.
you can see the world map, right? Means the stored process can be accessible throughout the world by different users. Okay. So it is available to the users worldwide. Okay. Then by using the stored process, we can minimize the number of programs that you must write and maintain. So for example, in the United States, we have 50 states, right? So you are analyzing data of one state. So if you want to analyze the data of all the 50 states, so it will be very difficult to write again the code 50 times and all those, right? So that's why what we do, we'll be creating the prompts, right? So first we will write a code without mentioning a particular state. Then after that, if you add the state, then automatically it will means the analysis procedure is same. The code will be the same. Here only the input data varies, right? Then automatically the output data also vary. Here the code it won't vary. The code will be the same. Means the analytical procedure is same for all the 50 states. So that's why instead of writing the code for 50 states, just write the code only one time and then pass the value. Means pass the country name to the store process like that. So, you can minimize the number of SAS programs also. Instead of writing the code 50 times, we are writing just only one time, right? And it is easy to maintain also. So stored process also provide additional benefits. Okay. So what are the additional benefits? You can see these are the benefits. For web reporting, we can use the stored process. For analytics also, we can use the stored process. And after creating your stored process, you can deliver the results also to the client or to the middle tier applications using this. Once you create the stored process, whatever the report generated, so you can share your reports to the, the end users or middle tier applications as a package. Okay, then you can publish those results also into the channels or into the repositories also. Means you can store the results in the repository as a report, or as you can publish it to the channels. I mean, channels means the people who have the access to the channel, they can view the reports created by using the store process. So these are the advent of the store process. Later, how this store process is maintained. This store process is nothing but, see, for example, I think you know the metadata, right? Anyway, I will explain the metadata concepts also later. So central server, the store process after creating, so you keep the store process in the central server. Then with the help of the metadata, the store process can be accessible to different clients. Different clients can access the store process from the central server using this metadata server. So to run any program, to run the EBA environment, your metadata server is mandatory. So without metadata server, no program can be executed. So whatever you write, whether it is stored process or OLAP cube or DI, whatever it may be, so you have to keep it in the centralized server or central server. So from the central server, the remote clients can access that content. Okay. Then what is a store process actually? Store process is nothing but a SAS program. Store process is nothing but a SAS program that is stored and executed on a server described with the metadata. Okay. A stored process is a SAS program that is stored in the central server and described with the metadata. Means the entire content will be described in the metadata itself. Okay. And it's executed on the server. The remote clients can access that uh, stored process stored in the central server. That is, a stored process is composed of two parts, the SAS program and the metadata. So what is the content of the stored process? It contains a SAS program as well as the metadata. And both parts are stored on the server. Stored process can be executed on the central server by multiple users in different locations. Okay. Also, there are multiple client applications from which users can execute stored process. Then what is the benefit of the stored process? Accessibility, manageability, security, reusability also there. So what is accessibility? Means once you create the store process, multiple people can access the store process from different location. Means multiple clients can access the store process. So that is accessibility. Then what is the manageability? So once you create the store process, it's not like it cannot be modified. So you can modify the store process. Okay, you can manage the store process, and you can change the authorizations to the store process. If you have a new version, then you can modify the current store process to the. I mean, you can update the current store process, whatever you created, to the latest version. Okay, that you can do. You can manage the store process. Means once you create the store process, it's not like that it cannot be modified. You can modify it later. Okay, then security. What is the security? As we are storing it a centralized server with credentials, then unauthorized I mean access to that stored process cannot be supported. So you just keep the passwords and restrictions. Okay, even ACT controls also you can add to the stored process, so that only I mean the genuine people, or those who have the access to that stored process, can access the stored process, and they can generate the reports. Then what is the reusability? Reusable means once the stored process is created, you can reuse it. Okay, reuse means you can modify the code. Actually, manageability means we can manage it. Reusability means you can reuse the store process. Okay, by changing the data sources or by adding new prompts, means you can uh, change the code also. Okay, that's called the reusability. So these are the benefit of the store process, and this is very important one. There are three things in store process. One is how to create the store process, then how to register the store process, and how to execute the store process. There are three things: creating the store process, registering the store process, and executing the store process. So we have bunch of tools in SAS EBA, right? So I mean, among these tools, some will work as a uh, executing tools only. Executing means once we have a store process, so you can use the store process to generate the reports. We can say them as a reporting tools. So what are the reporting tools? Enterprise Guide is a reporting tool. Microsoft add-in. Actually, in the demo, I forgot to show you the MS Office AMO. AMO means it's an add-on. Okay, add-in for Microsoft Office. AMO, we call it the AMO. I forgot actually to show this AMO. So today I will show
I
you
have
that
idea
AMO.
on this.
You have an idea, right? Okay. So SAS add-in for Microsoft Office. So this one also we can use to execute the store process, and Web Report Studio also we can use to execute the store process, and Information Delivery Portal also we can use, Information Map Studio, and Store Process Web Application. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tools we can use to execute the store process. This is for the execution. But how to create a store process? The creation of the store process will be done by two tools only. One is the Enterprise Guide, the other one is the DA Studio. Okay, means for example, we have done a job. We can save that job further by converting into the store process. So the jobs also we can convert and save in the form of the store process. Means using the DS Studio, we can create the store process. Using the Enterprise Guide also, we can create the store process. Then register. So register means we can register particular data set or particular database or particular table, whatever it may be, using libraries. I think you know how to create a library, but I will show that
Yeah.
one also. So using the Enterprise Guide, using the DA Studio, as well as the management console, we can register the tables or databases. So this is for the registration purpose. Okay. So first of all, we have to register the data sets. Okay. Actually, here the register means registering not the databases, actually registering the store process. First of all, you have to create a store process. Later, register that store process either in DA Studio or in the Enterprise Guide or in the management console. Okay, any tool is fine, because once you register in management console, that automatically appear in DA Studio as well in the Enterprise Guide, because that is a centrally uh, located, right? So that's why we can store it either in the DA Studio or Enterprise Guide or management console, so that it can be viewed from the other tools also. Okay, so this is an important thing, and we'll be creating a store process and we'll register in Enterprise Guide. So that's why we call the Enterprise Guide as a power user here, because we can do all three things using the Enterprise Guide. We can register, we can create, and we can execute also using the Enterprise Guide. So if you have only Enterprise Guide, that is enough to create, register, and execute the store process. Okay. Then, yeah, this is the same content, but in a elaborative manner. Like what is the manageability, what is the accessibility, security. Okay. So this is one notes. It's a old notes. Okay. I think no need to go through this one. Okay. If you want to learn more, just see this one, but the content will be the same. I will share this after the session. Yeah. Now, first we'll open the enterprise guide. So this is an enterprise guide. You check the connection first of all here. One second, I will show in my system. I am opening the enterprise guide. It is a 6.1 version. Yeah, so this is a 6.1 version. So here you can see no profile selected. No profile selected means it is a independent environment. So there is no link to any other tool. Means we are not connected to the centralized metadata repository. Okay, see the servers. I have no servers here. Okay, so no profile. If I run something here, okay, so it will be run only locally in your machine. It's not connected to any metadata repository, or it's not connected to any centralized metadata location, right? So that's why here it is showing no profile selected. So if you create a store process, like in this environment, then the others cannot access your store process. So that's why whenever you create a store process, okay, so you have to create in a centrally connected environment. Okay. Now, actually, in this, connection is there. Connection is there. I have connected to a server called the my server localhost 8561. The 8561 is the metadata port. Always 8561 is the metadata port only. Then we are connected to the localhost, which is the server. So I gave the server name as a my server only. Server name as a my server, and user is Ahmad. If you want, you can modify or you can change the user. If you want to modify the user, if you want to connect by some other user's name and credential, that you can modify this one. But currently, and what is the server? We have two servers. One is the application server and the metadata server. Anyway, in the next class, I'm going to explain the architecture. So that time I will explain very clearly about what is the application server, metadata server, what's the connect server, shared server, workspace server, pool workspace server. I will explain the difference between all the servers. So currently we are connected to the application server, or you can connect even to the metadata server, no problem, because here the metadata server is a part of the application server only. Okay, so no problem. Here we connected to the application server. Then, so anyway, I connected to the environment with this username Ahmed and mission to the local host. So when you have connected, here it will show. Here it will show the server list. Okay. So if you are not connected to any environment, then it won't show the server list here. Okay. It will, it won't show server list. One second. Yeah. Here. Yeah, see, no SAS metadata profile selected. Here, no metadata profile selected. But in this, you can see we have all the folders. All the folders. Server list is there. Okay, server means it will show the application server, metadata server. But where here only the local server. There is no application server. There is no metadata server. It's a local server only. So that's why when creating the store process, you select the connected environment. Okay, now I selected this connected environment. There are three tasks, right? Okay, let me write here, or else let's go to, yeah, this one. So to create and use the store process, first of all, we are using enterprise guide only, right? Three things we can do. One is creation, right? Creating the store process. Second one, registering the store process. Third one is executing the store process. Three things we have to do. There are three steps in the store process. So what is the first step? Creating the store process. First, you create the store process. So to create the store process, first of all, we have some data source. Means maybe in a SAS dataset form or maybe Oracle, whatever. You have to register the data source initially. Then after that, you write a code. So if you write code, that is okay. Or else you do some task in enterprise guide. So the task will generate the code, right? So you can use the code generated by the task. Okay, means we need a program or we need a code. How the code is generated, whether you write the code or whether the enterprise guide automatically generates the code, whatever the code may be, but we need that code. Okay, first of all, we need a data, then we need the code. Okay, then third one, if you want, you can add the prompts. So using the prompt manager, we can add the prompts. So once you add the prompt, normal SAS code will be generated. Then we have to store that normal SAS code and convert it into the store process. Okay. Then after converting into the store process, we have to store the store process in two locations. One is the physical location. Okay, physical location where you can see the code. The other one is the metadata location, means where you are defining your metadata, the metadata location. Okay. Then after registering or after storing your metadata in this location, then it will be distributed centrally or it's located in the metadata location. So from this metadata location, any user or any client can access that store process and they will execute the store process to generate the reports, either by using the same enterprise guide or add-in for Microsoft Office or Web Report Studio or store process. Okay, so we can take any data set. Okay, I'm taking this SAS help.cars. Okay, so here in the servers. Okay, so this is a local server. I think this is not the one. Yeah, I'm using this virtual environment. So application server. In the application server, there is already existing library is there. That is a help library, SAS help library. In the SAS help library, I'm selecting a data set. Means instead of registering a table, I'm selecting a data set here. Already the table is registered in SAS help library, right? So here I'm taking this cars. Just drag this one into your environment. Yeah. So this is the data we have. Right? Then right, always modifying something or analyzing something. So we have a good understanding of the data. Without good understanding of the data, we can't even predict. We cannot even do the summarization of the data. We can't do anything. So I mean, even in machine learning or deep learning also, uh, understanding the data is very very important. Even in the Tableau also, when you're creating reports or any analytical tool or any BI tool, so first understanding the data is very very important. So here we have some data, right? uh, I mean, anyway, this is very small data only. Around 428 observations are there, and even we have the labels also, so that it's easy to understand. So this data is about the cars. So it's a make, means Acura, Audi car, BMW car, Buick. So these are the makes and these are the models. For example, you take the Audi. In the Audi A4184DR, this is a model and is a sedan type. Its origin is Europe and drive is front and the maximum selling retail price, this one. It's the invoice price. Then what is the engine size, cylinders, horsepower, and MPG, like this. We have some details of the cars. The car made up of and the model, type, origin, like this. Now I want to make some queries on this one. Okay, let's write some queries here. Here I want the make Audi. So I want the Audi car and the type. The type is sedan. Okay. So I want to know how many sedan types are there in the Audi, or you can even analyze this one also. What is the minimum price of the Audi cars? What is the maximum? or whatever the analysis you want, you just make a list. Okay, just here I want to see just the number only. Okay, I mean it's a simple thing. So I want to see the how many sedan types are in RD, uh, uh, sports type, sports or SUV. Okay, like this. I want to just make only two queries. What is the type and what is the make? Then, okay, let's write a small code for this one. Go to the file, a new program. I'm writing a small program here. Proc print data equal to, I just want to print the data. SAS help dot cars run. I'm just printing this one. That's it. Okay. Yeah. So run this one. So it gives the result. Means it is just printing the data as it is, having 428 observations. Now close this one. I want the RD and type is sedan. So usually what we do, we'll be making a query here where make equal to RD, make equal to RD, and type equal to sedan, type equal to sedan. So as you know, we should use the either single quotes or double quotes for the character data. Okay. Now writing a title, RD make and sedan type of cars. Okay, just run this one. Title. So run the program. Then it gives us only the RD and a sedan type only. Okay. So yeah, so we got this one. Okay. Then if you want, you can like variable MSRP. It's okay. Let it just make it simple. Okay, just run this one. So we got the result like this. Next time, I mean, this is my program. So using this program, I got the Audi as well as the sedan type, right? But somebody wants the how many sports types are there in the sedan. Means again we have to write a program, right? So instead of writing the program, usually what we do here, we will be changing sports. Okay, then submit this one. Here also we need to change. So change this one. So now it's giving the RD sports, but some other person he wants the BMW next time. So every time we need a different report, right? So I mean, if we need the same report every time, then this code is enough. So this we need a dynamic coding, right? So every time it has to change. So I mean, it should be, I mean, in a position to allow the changes in the code, right? So that's why what we do, we'll be adding the prompts. Okay. So instead of here RD, okay, make equal to RD. So I'm using a prompt here. Okay. Ampersand make. So make means if you add RD, then it will give RD. If you add BMW, then it will give the BMW. Right? And type equal to ampersand type. Okay. Now, whenever we use ampersand, then it should be in double quotes. It won't work in single quote, right? Then RD make, right? So make and it's a type of cards. Okay. So I added two prompts, make and type. Okay. Now if you run it, it won't work because we haven't substituted the values for the prompts, right? So that's why it's giving not resolved. So no values were resolved. So what should we do now? As we created two prompts, make and type. Okay. So go to the prompt manager and pass the values to this. I mean, make this code to understand this. This make and type are the prompts. So here we have a prompt manager here, left side. No prompts defined. So we should add a prompt. Go to the add, and I'm adding a make. Prompt one is make. So it should appear as a make only. Then what is the prompt type? It is a character type, right? So it's a text. So go to the text. Then here it will allow only one value, single value, right? If you want multiple values, like I need a BMW as well as the RD, then we should add two prompts. I mean, it should give the two values. So it should allow the two values that you can make the changes here. So here user enters value, or it has to prompt the value. See, because I don't know like what type of make models are there, right? Means it has to show a list. So that's why here instead of user enters value, user selects the value from a static list. It will show the list of the cars. Then from there you will be selecting one type of car. So it will allow only the single value. Then what are the car names? I mean, what are the make names you are adding means you have to get the list. So get values where it is. So you got it from the SAS help only, right? So go to the servers from the application. Then from the SAS help, select the cars, and from which column we are selecting make. So now you are accessing the values from the make. You're getting the values. It won't show the repeated values actually. So from the make, just click on the get values. So these are the types: Acura, Audi, BMW. So these are all the makes. Then select all this. So it will prompt all these values. Then click on OK. So if you are interested, or if you want to delete, okay, showing, I mean, if you want to exclude some cards showing in the report, then you can exclude them. Okay, but I want to show all the values. Then click on OK. So we created one prompt make. Then create one more prompt called the type. So go to the add, then type. So prompt type, and this one also same from the static list. Then get values, browse the same location from the same data location. Then cars, then select the column, that is a type. Type. Then click on the get values. Yeah, only 6 types of cars are there. Yeah, selecting all the 6, and click on OK. So we created 2 prompts. So these 2 prompts, we should add it to the code. Okay, so where is the code? The code, this is the program. Then right click, go to the properties. Then here we have the prompts. Add, make, and type. Click on OK. Now we added the prompts also to the program. Now you see the program, it shows with the question mark. Question mark means it is a prompt, means the program having some prompt. Okay. Then you can check this one. Simply right click and run the program. Then see, it is asking, it's prompting us, make RD type, some sedan. Click on run. Now it will generate a report. RD make and sedan type of cars. RD and sedan make of cars. So we got the report. Then if you want to execute it second time with a different prompt values like Chevrolet and SUV, run. Now it will give the Chevrolet and SUV types. Okay. Now it is giving, I mean, like dynamic reports. So based on the values. So because it is nothing but the macros, right? So we added the prompts and this program is ready. So if you close it, what happens? For example, somebody want to use your stored process, okay, and want to generate the reports using some Microsoft Office, like for example, like let's take the Word document. In the Word document, you know this one, right? There is a SAS. It's an add-in. Add-in. Okay. So in the add-in, I want to generate a report. So we're connecting to the metadata, and in the SAS folders, you cannot see that one. You cannot see the stored process because we haven't stored that. We created locally. That's it. We created stored process locally, but we haven't stored the stored process in the in this folder. This is called the metadata location. So we should store this in the metadata location by converting into the stored process. See, this is not the stored process now. It is just a program with prompts. That's it.
Mm.
So this one, what we had
I
done.
have a question here.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So while defining the prompts, right, for a particular SAS program,
Mm,
you are choosing one data set, like whatever the source data set we are selecting.
mm.
If it is not data set, I mean, it is an data from an Oracle or any
Yeah,
DB.
you can select,
How?
right? You can select. If, for example, I mean, you are getting the data from, because while defining the source, so you're defining the database or any other thing, right? But we can, I mean, selecting the data from the same location is not mandatory. Okay, if you have an Excel sheet in your system, or if
Mm,
you have some
mm.
text file in your system, add those values, and you can even use that Excel sheet or text file also as a reference. You can use.
Oh,
I mean, no need to select the same data source.
no, like if it is, I mean, if it is available in the local, I mean, in this environment, that is
Mhm.
fine. But if we want to connect to any other Teradata room, I mean, we need to connect in a Teradata
Yes, yes,
database.
yeah, you can connect.
Yeah.
Yeah, first of all, you have to register that one because it should be
Oh,
available in our environment, right? So you have to register that one, register
okay.
that, and keep it as a table, okay, in
Mm.
a centralized repository, and make it available.
But we cannot directly connect to
No,
database.
no, we cannot connect. I mean, the same concept in DS Studio, right? If you want to connect any data, actually there are three things. One is
Mm.
you can connect directly. So how to connect directly means only the text files or ASCII files you can connect directly. Okay.
Mm.
Then CSV files also you can connect directly. Means
Mm.
any external file you can connect directly. That is that we can do. The second thing is if you want to connect to databases like Excel, then definitely you have to create a library,
Yes. Mm.
right? Yeah, that is
Through
mandatory.
lib engine only we can connect to them and
Yeah,
fetch the data.
library engine, and we need the database server also. For
Okay.
every database, I mean, we are connecting to Oracle. Let's assume we are connecting to Oracle. Then
Mm.
we have to define a library, and we have to define a database server also.
Mm.
We need to do two things. See, if you have a data set simply, then
Mm.
just define a library. That is enough.
Okay.
Yeah, I will just type here. Actually, here three types of connections. Okay, the first one is external files. So, what are the external files? Text files, then
Yes.
ASCII files, okay, etc. So these directly you can connect. Means directly uh, we can connect without defining uh, library engines. Okay.
Yes.
Then the second one is connecting to data sources. Data sources. What are the data sources? Even if you take the Excel or Access or what we say Oracle or MySQL, so whatever it may be, here we should do two things. So one is define library. The second thing is database define database server.
Mm.
Database server. Then the third one is data sets. If you have data sets, just define library. That is enough. Define library. So here, without defining libraries also, like this, there are three types of data. Usually we come across only three types of data.